Hello, everybody. We are live and discovering all sorts of freaking typos here. I don't know if I could manage the broadcast here. Switch, refresh. I don't know. Well, right now the video on YouTube says it's episode 177, and it says it's Nick, some other name. I say Guggino, not Guggino. Whatever, dude. I got too many irons in the fire. This is actually BFS Live episode 117. It is Wednesday, December 10th. And Nick Guggino is back.
Yeah, and excited to be here.
Yeah, you were on the show a while ago before you went away for the summer to do some guy stuff.
Yep.
We could touch base on that a little bit.
Yeah.
And for anyone in the chat that wants to go back and pause it right now and go find that episode to find the context for this episode, I can tell you it was episode 83. It was episode 83, and now we're here 117.
I was going to guess 81. Would have been pretty close.
So before we get going on the show, I just want to say we are 1 week away. At the moment of recording this, we are 1 week away from our 9-year anniversary party for Breaking Free Skate Park. It'll be the free day, December 17th, like every year. We have 2 bands playing, God's Love and Pain's Present. God's Love is not like a Christian band, although they could be. They're like a metalcore band, like a 2007 sounding metalcore band. Andrew, the singer, is a really cool guy.
That's sick.
He's got like tattoos all over his head and face, and he's like into psychedelics, and I don't know what the god is, which god of the God's Love. But he's a really interesting dude I know from the disc golf world.
He's a disc golfer? And is there a big thrash scene on the disc golf circuit or what?
Not really.
No?
Well, actually, Elijah, who was the hip-hop artist that played here, who was also on this show a couple episodes ago, I also met him through disc golfing, and he's friends with Andrew. And Elijah does hip-hop, and Andrew is the singer in like a metalcore band.
That's sick.
Pretty interesting. Just the skate park world just overlaps with just so many worlds.
Yeah, I feel like it definitely doesman have any like hard boundaries. You find a lot of people, Yeah,
this is what it's like when worlds collide. You know that song? Power Man 5000?
Sounds familiar.
Yeah. Well, let's recap for the people. You were on the show a while back. We talked about all kinds of crazy shit you did because for a young guy, you've done all sorts of cool and random stuff. You were spending your summer where you had done 2 summers previously in Western Massachusetts,
Western Mass, yeah.
At Thunder Mountain, building bike jumps.
Yep.
So I want to talk about that. But before we get there, I have a gift for you.
You have a gift for me?
I have a gift for you, yeah.
No way. For the camera?
For the camera, yeah. I got you a copy of Cormac McCarthy's All the Pretty Horses, which we've talked about this novel a few times. You told me last night you hadn't picked it up yet.
Yeah, I haven't.
I got you a copy of it.
Thank you very much.
And yeah, you're welcome. And for all the people at home, I love this book. I recently read it, and it was like phenomenal. So if any of the viewers, if any of the people that listen to this show, and I have a bunch of you guys that come here and you skate, and they come in and they'll like, oh, I liked this from that episode and that from that episode, blah, blah, blah. If you're a reader, audiobook reader, if you want to read Cormac McCarthy's All the Pretty Horses, do it. And we can check in a month from now or so, and maybe we can talk about it.
Yeah.
So if you listen to this, either tell me in person or drop me a comment if you've read it or if you're going to read it. Because if we can get like a little BFS book club going thing, that would be freaking awesome. We
should start a BFS library. After I read this, I'll return this back.
Well, I have a stack of books at the counter.
Yeah? Yeah. We already have a BFS library?
Yeah, there's Jonathan Haidt's over there and Dostoevsky and a couple things over there. A couple good things. So I'm going to tell you the story about this book, how my day about trying to get this book for you, and then we'll talk about you.
Okay, I would love to hear it.
There's this really cool bookstore down in Henrietta, which is a suburb of Rochester, and it's like just piled to the ceiling with books, and it's like loosely organized. It's called Bookends, and there's boxes of books on the floor. It's probably what people think when they come into my skate park, like it's eccentric and unique, and this bookstore is totally eccentric and unique. I went there one time, I bought a bunch of books. The guy was sleeping in the chair, like he's like sitting upright, like snoring, and I was like ready to buy my books, and I was like and I was like jingling my keys, see if he would like wake up. And it's like there's like empty food containers and like empty Coca-Colas around him, and just like this.
And it had the smell, the bookstore smell.
It's a really cool old bookstore.
Yeah.
And I've been meaning, I wanted to get some of these Cormac McCarthy novels on paperback. So I went there maybe 2 weeks ago, and there's just like a handwritten sign on the door. It's like, oh, we're open on, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And I was like, oh, shit, I went on a Monday.
Yeah.
So today I was like, oh, okay, it's Wednesday or whatever. I'll go check it out this time. And now, like, the hours are like Saturday, Sunday, Monday.
Oh, it changes.
Yeah, it's just like a handwritten sign. It's super old school. And I was like, frick, I drove here. Used bookstores closed. Whatever. So then there's another used bookstore on Monroe Avenue right here in the city.
Yep.
And I was like, well, I'll go check out that one. I go there. And I got my daughter in tow the whole time. And
via bicycle?
No, in the car.
Oh, okay.
And there's a handwritten sign on the door. Closed December 10th. I'm getting knee surgery. Sorry. I was like, oh, fuck. Oh, jeez. Okay. So then I ended up going to freaking Barnes & Noble and bought that for you.
Barnes & Noble.
Yeah, and I couldn't believe it, how much money they charge for a paperback these days, but whatever.
Thank you very much, dude.
So
I'm excited to read it.
This is Cormac McCarthy's All the Pretty Horses. It won the National Book Award. It's a phenomenal novel. It's a very male type of book. His writing is very male. It's not...
Manly?
Yeah, I just feel like it's the type of stories men are more into reading than women.
Right.
They're kind of brutal. This is probably the only one that has any sort of love interest, at least from what I've read from him. So. Yeah,
I'm excited to read it because I love his movie No Country for Old Men.
Yeah, that's an adaptation of his book.
Yeah.
Of the same name.
And I haven't read the book, but
they made a movie out of this one too, and it was terrible. Apparently, Matt Damon's in it.
He's pretty foxy.
Yeah, well, if you read this book, if you read All the Pretty Horses, John Grady Cole's the main character.
Yep.
And if you just see any of the still frames of Matt Damon playing, when John Grady Cole is such a captivating character.
Yeah.
And like having like pretty boy Matt Damon playing it, it's just like it's not right. It just doesn't land.
Yeah, I always get him confused with Marky Mark.
Matt Damon. Team America?
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay, whatever. So yeah, again, if anyone you want to read All the Pretty Horses and get back to me, this could be maybe the first prototype of BFS book club.
Yeah, I'm very excited. I'm gonna dive into that tomorrow for sure.
And it's a Western Gothic. Is what
that's the official genre.
Yeah, Western Gothic apparently.
That's awesome. Dude, I love old bookstores. That's sick. You're going to check those places out. They are hard to get into though.
Yeah.
So there was one in Massachusetts that I would stop at every time it was open.
Mm-hmm.
The guy probably hated me because I would go in there and just like window shop, but and shoot the shit with him for a little bit. But it was a similar thing. It was like in this decrepit house. It didn't have a name. It was just books and with an arrow. And if the sign was out, it was open, and I was like on a route that I regularly rode. And so if I was like, I'd go in there all sweaty, and you could only go in the basement because the upstairs wasn't fit for traffic. As there was and it was like same thing. This was like this old like 1800s house that looked like the books were holding it up.
Oh, okay.
It was insane. But it
where was this? Massachusetts?
In Massachusetts, just on some like random road, like out in the middle of nowhere. You'd never expect it was there. And the first time I went there, buddy of mine who's also into like weird eclectic stuff like that, we were riding by it. I was like, we should just go see what that's all about. And I went back like 5 or 6 more times after that. Never bought any books from him though.
You're like that guy that goes in the bike shop and never spends any money and just talks.
Exactly. Well, it's like I would go in there and I would be like out on a ride, and never brought any money with me, and he didn't have any hours, so it was hard to plan on when to bring money. But yeah, I appreciate the book, man. That's
I've
good.
been obsessed with this book and the whole border. Like this book is part of a 3-part trilogy from McCarthy, and it's just like super captivating. At least I found it to be.
Yeah.
And I think I cried at least twice during that novel, which is kind of a novel experience. I know I never really read fiction until recently.
Yeah.
And my brain's just so high spun from all like the social media and like the job and the baby. It's like I like don't have the bandwidth to really absorb nonfiction.
Right.
So I was like, I'm just gonna start reading fiction and try and like kind of take it seriously. Like really try to like immerse myself.
Right.
And now that I've read the 3 books of that trilogy, I went back to his like big deal book, Blood Meridian, which is like especially brutal and violent. And maybe once or twice a week, I go home and I just sit on the couch and just zone out and just like listen to one chapter.
Yep.
Sometimes I'll listen to a chapter in the sauna as well.
That's a long sauna sit. A whole chapter in the sauna?
Well, I am currently listening to my books at 1.8 speed.
Oh, okay.
So, yeah.
Still probably pretty long. What are you doing, like 20, 30 in the sauna?
Yeah, I did 25 at it was 187 this week.
Yeah, that's a good hit.
When I finished the Border Trilogy, the last book of the Border Trilogy is Cities of the Plain. I finished the last chapter. I was crying in the sauna. Literally, like, but I was in there for over 30 minutes.
Yeah.
At over 190.
Right.
Because I was like just so locked into this chapter, and I was literally like silently sobbing, but I was so sweaty you couldn't tell I was crying.
It's a good place to cry.
The end. Oh my god, dude. The end of the Border Trilogy is just oh my god.
Don't ruin it.
I was sobbing in public. That's how good it was.
Yeah.
You know.
That's crazy.
And like maybe the people that listen to this regularly aren't surprised because I cry almost every episode of the show.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it's so good.
That's cool.
It's so. We were talking about this yesterday. All of his writing is so interconnected through these 3 novels, and there's so many connections. And the more once I finish Blood Meridian, I'm going back to All the Pretty Horses. I'm going to reread the whole trilogy again and try to pick up all the stuff I missed the first time through.
That's cool.
Yeah,
that's really cool. Yeah, from what you said, it sounds sweet. I like reading fiction, but I like reading fiction that has ties to history in a sense.
Yeah.
You know, where it like ties into like the actual timeline that happened.
Yeah.
That's really cool. I always like when authors do that. I'm trying to think. I read this one book. Probably shouldn't even get into it. It's just so long ago, but it was The Blue Comet, and it was kind of like that, where it was set in a timeline, time travel fiction. You know,
it wasn't about the train, was it?
Yeah, it was.
Oh, really?
It was. It
really?
was. Yeah, of course. Yeah.
That's funny.
So the kid had a model Blue Comet train, and he was like infatuated with it, and his like home life was really shit. And
so you are autistic.
Yeah, dude, I love trains.
Dude, that video you sent me today about the dopamine and trains. Sorry,
dude.
Tangent. Continue on.
Yeah. But it was he had his like home life was like really bad, and like him and his dad had a train set, and he could like he went into the train set, which was based in like the 1940s, and all of a sudden he was immersed in the 1940s.
Oh, wow.
It's a pretty crazy book.
In this Border Trilogy from McCarthy, it's not historical fiction, but it's very much based upon like the general premise of the book is like the last days of the West. Right. So the first book, All the Pretty Horses, and the second book, The Crossing, are both like coming of age tales for two boys who are like 15, and there's this tension between like, you know, in the first book, John Grady Cole, the main character, they're in Texas, and Texas is, you know, John Grady Cole looks up to his grandfather, and he lives on his grandfather's ranch. And his father went off to the war, World War I, and is kind of like messed up and kind of isn't in the picture. But he like romanticizes his grandfather in these days of the Wild West, you know.
Right.
And but that's not how the world is anymore. Like, because it's based in I think the late 1930s.
Right.
And so he basically goes to Mexico, where it's like going back in time, and in Mexico it's still the Wild West. It's still more open. There aren't like there's no fences, like symbolically, like they're still in down in Mexico. There, you know, cowboys are still going out to the open land and rounding up ponies and bringing them back to the ranch and trying to break.
What do we got?
That's it. I think you're thinking. Sorry, comment in the chat.
Oh.
He's thinking of Ben Nichols' solo album, Blood Meridian. Ben Nichols is the singer of Lucero. He did a solo album called The Last Pale Light in the West, which is a concept album about Blood Meridian, which is the other one. He said Nobody's Darlings.
Okay.
But yeah, the comment was, I probably didn't see that comment until now, though. Sorry.
That's cool. That's
yeah, and then in the second book, it's in the 40s, so there's like this periphery of World War II,
Yeah.
and like the one character when he has a brief bout of kind of like a nihilistic thing, and he just tries to sign up for the army.
Yeah.
Like he literally is like F it, like because all the because it's like these cowboy coming of age tales. They have these moments of like F it, like I don't give a F anymore,
Yeah.
or whatever. And he tries to sign up for the army, but he has like a heart murmur, and he
Right.
goes from like town to town trying to sign up for the war, and every single doctor that like examines him keeps telling him the same thing: you have a heart murmur, you can't go in, you can't go in, you can't go in.
Right.
And then he's like just more pissed off they wouldn't send him in. And then at the end, there's like this weird, like at the very end of the second book of the trilogy, there's like he's like wakes up in the middle of the night and there's like this crazy bright light. It's like really obscure, like, and basically because it's in New Mexico, so I guess it's like a nuclear test. He just happens to be nearby.
Oh, what?
Which is like super random. Like haven't really figured out why that happens right at the very end of the book, and like many stuff in these novels, everything happens for a very specific reason, like I was telling you about yesterday with
Yeah.
the ant's name and the boat and whatever. That sounds obscure, but
Well, his endings are kind of like that, like are being based off the little that I do know, like the end of No Country for Old Men. Do you remember? Have you seen the movie?
You know why?
No. What's the meaning of that ending with the horses?
So Cormac McCarthy's endings they feel like they're not endings.
Yeah.
Unless you understand all the symbolism, right? So
Okay.
Sugar, the protagonist in No Country for Old Men,
Yep.
he does that coin flip thing, right? And he basically acts as like the arbiter of whatever the coin says. Like it's not his choice. If the coin says whatever, you die and whatever.
Yeah.
So it's just chance. And that's what the ending is. It's just chance. He's just driving down the road and just gets T-boned by a car.
Right.
Just flip a coin.
Well, I'm sorry. Even the ending where the old police officer is having the dream. Remember, he has the dream with the horses, and he's like, the movie literally ends with him saying, "I don't know," because he has a dream with the horses, and his wife is like, "Are you all right?" And he's like, "I had the weirdest dream last night." She's like, "What'd it mean?" And he goes, "I don't know." And the credits roll.
Yeah.
It's the craziest ending. It's the craziest ending.
Well, his whole character is just he's always one step behind. You know,
Right,
the
that's
world
true.
has progressed past where he was. You know, he didn't carry a gun. You know,
Yeah.
we don't need to carry a gun around here. You know,
Right.
it just was no country for an old man like him.
Right. That's true.
Yeah, I haven't read that book, and that's my understanding is that the movie's an adaptation more so than a like a direct or whatever make.
Right.
You know, and like all the Pretty Horses movie is supposed to be based on that book, and I watched a couple scenes and it was like horrendously bad. Like the acting was just like horrible. But the way Cormac McCarthy writes, it's so insanely poignant. There's very little dialogue and there's a lot of description about terrain. And one thing he does really well as an author is he tends to describe really like subtle things people do with their hands while they're talking. You know, and there's something about like the salt of the earth people and like having those weathered, worked hands, and like whether they're, you know, taking a drag of a cigarette or like, it's always, I don't know. In a book, you can give so much description to it, like a scene that just you couldn't do in a movie.
Right.
You know, like the culmination of the whole 3-book trilogy is this knife fight, and like you can slow down time in a book,
Right.
You know, and you can describe like one swoop of the knife in a movie is literally just like a few seconds at best, but it could be like a whole page.
Right.
And he drags out this knife fight, and it's just like the tension is just so palpable. Cormac has this way of building tension in scenes, often scenes without any action. Although the one I'm talking about, the knife scene, is obviously a knife scene.
Yeah.
And in that book, it's the same character who gets in a knife fight at the end of the novel. He gets a knife fight in that book when he's in this Mexican prison. So like it calls the ending of the whole trilogy calls back to all these things in the first book.
Okay.
Yeah, it's epic, dude.
I'm excited to read it.
Yeah.
It's interesting. You say it's like you know, it's a tale of like these kids who don't feel, you know, like they have a place in the modern world, so they go searching for something more old school. I feel like that's a pretty common narrative, something I can relate to
Yeah, it's
as
you.
well.
It's what you've been doing the thing, you know?
Yeah.
And in the whole Border trilogy, the characters constantly come into contact with these people in Mexico who Cormac has this way of having a character who talks in like a normal kind of like an uneducated kind of worker in the field, migrant on the road, gypsy, just like a person who's not educated. But he can make them talk in that sort of language, but still have like these philosophical discussions that in some cases the 15-year-old boys in the novel don't really fully grasp while it's happening.
I know what you're saying.
And there's this tension between, like in the book, between like the American way of thinking and like the Mexican way of thinking that the boys don't entirely understand. You know, like there's this poignant scene, I think in the second book, where he's talking about, he's like, oh, you Americans, you know, you think evil is like a spirit, right? He's like, I saw an American, and you know and he was cursing, and he kicked his truck because he wouldn't start, as if the truck was possessed by some sort of evil in the moment. Your truck is neither evil or not evil; it's just a truck.
Yeah.
But here in Mexico, there's evil, you know, and like, it's like, oh fuck, you know, because everyone these boys encounter in the novels are either really, really, really nice and gracious, or like evil.
Right.
And it's maybe 4-1 good to evil, but it keeps you on the toes every time a character because the books kind of meander and like random stuff happens. And as soon as something happens, after a while, you really quickly, you're like, okay, which way is this going?
Right.
Are they going to, you know, share food and water while they're starving out here in the desert? Or are they going to try to kill them?
Yeah.
It's great.
Interesting.
Just like the real world.
Yeah, right.
Minus everything I just said.
That's awesome.
So you just spent the whole summer out there in Massachusetts doing your trail building thing. You built yourself a cool little A-frame cabin and everything.
Yeah.
Tell me about your summer.
Oh man, it was amazing. It was much needed. I mean, I definitely went into the deep end at home leading up to the summer with school and work and stuff like that. Kind of pushed myself beyond my limits and was needing like a reset, and it's just kind of one of those things that happened out of the blue. The Thunder Mountain reached out to me wondering if I wanted to work again for the summer, and I was like, man, that I can't think of anything that sounds better than that. And you know, took some money that I had set aside for school and used it to pick up a piece of property up there, and essentially started with it was completely undeveloped land, and I had the goal heading out there of building a 3-season cabin and being indoors with a wood stove before the weather went to pot. And that's what we did. I left here in May in my van with a little enclosed trailer, and thankfully, my girlfriend is great enough to let me be voluntarily homeless 2 states away. So I went up there and just kind of got to work with the goal of building that cabin, and also like enjoying myself throughout the process. So I think I've definitely had the habit of like rushing stuff like that, and really spinning my perspective around where it's like, this is it's such a privilege to just be able to do that, and I shouldn't hate the process. So finding the balance of like working on it and feeling productive, but also taking the time to go ride my bike and, you know, hang out with friends and stuff like that, along with work. And I was wrapping up school when I first got up there as well. I had a month and a half of online school to finish before to actually say that I finished. I get my diploma. But yeah, so it was good. Got the cabin built, and by I think it was September, with the help of my dad and my girlfriend and a bunch of friends from the mountain. It was like a big community project to freaking get it stood up Amish style, and a lot of bikes, like the most bikes I've ever experienced. It was non-stop biking. But I guess that would be kind of the cliff notes on the summer.
Tell me about the property. How much property we talking?
I got 22 and a half acres.
Okay. What's the like the topography of it?
It's all like it's all a slope.
Mhm.
It's not too steep, but it's definitely not too steep. It's good. You can walk the whole thing. I rode my dirt bike all over it, kind of scoped it out. It's really cool. It's got some really nice trees on the property.
What do you mean by that?
There's some really old trees and really big trees.
Okay.
The property, it's really interesting. The property's been under forestry management for 40 years.
Okay.
It's kind of like people here in New York might be familiar with like an agricultural exemption.
Okay.
Where it's like you can put your property in this agricultural category and you get a tax break because someone's farming it. In Massachusetts, that opportunity extends past agriculture and goes into forestry and also recreation. So a landowner can get a tax break if they are an agricultural, forestry, or recreational zoned property.
Oh, interesting.
And so when you're zoned forestry in Mass, you essentially work with a state licensed forester to get a written like set of rules kind of for what you can and can't do with your property. And a lot of it's based around silviculture. And the word silviculture is it means to like utilize the forest land. So it's like if you have trees that are end of life, you cut them down and get the wood, but then you nurture the ones coming up.
Okay.
So it's not like going into it I was a little nervous because I knew it was forestry land, and if I was going to afford the property, I needed to keep this tax break or whatever. And I was a little nervous going into it because I was like, oh, are they going to tell me like I can't build trails? Like I can't build mountain bike trails. I can't build, I want to build jumps there and stuff. And it was actually completely the opposite. The lady who came and the forester who came and told me everything I needed to do with the land was like, this is your land and it's better that you're here because you're going to take care of it. So it's like they incentivize you to, do the things that you should be doing, like getting rid of invasive species or cutting down sick trees. Sick as in like ill, not sick like X Games.
Yeah.
But so it's like it incentivizes you to do the right thing, which I thought was really cool. So I've also been doing the property, since it has been in forestry management for 40 years, is gorgeous because of that. It's not like thick underbrush. It's just big healthy trees, really open forest floor.
Oh wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, it's really cool. And there's a bunch of like exposed in the area. There's a lot of exposed rocks. So there's like these massive outcroppings of just ledge that go all the way. Is the bedrock that's showing at the ground level. It's cool to ride on and it's really cool to look at. And that's like one of the main things we saw when we got to the property was just a big rock. And I was like, man, that rock's pretty cool. My dad was like, yeah, that rock's pretty cool. And we stood on the rock and looked around and we're like, yeah, I think this place, my dad was like, I think you should pull the trigger on this place. And it ended up being like, that's where I started. It was like that rock is like the centerpiece of the piece of the land I've started developing. So it's still like in play, which is pretty cool.
Cool. What's the road access like? How far are you from a main road? Like, if I'm going there, what do I got to do?
Ooh, it's actually its location like in relationship to getting there is actually pretty nice. Like the nearest highway, which like it's more like for anyone from around here, it's like 5 and 20 size.
Okay.
So just 2 lanes, one going, one coming, one going. So that's like the main road you get to there. And then from the main road, I'm like 5 minutes on like just it's paved, no markings. and you go up that road, then you get on a dirt road, and then you drive all the way to the end of the dirt road, and my property's like smack dab at the end of the road, and I'm right next to, there's another crazy person right next to me that's got an off-grid cabin as well, and he's been an awesome friend to have. His name's Ed, and he's off-grid. He's been there for like 35 years.
So he's not going to listen to this.
No, he won't listen to this. He won't listen to this.
Ed sounds cool.
Ed's cool, dude. Ed is really cool. Very elusive fellow. Like, I thought he wasn't there all summer, and then I saw him one day having a fire in the road. And I was
in the road.
In the road. I was like driving back from work, and this was like in the fall, so it was dark early.
Okay.
And I'm like on my way back, and normally I don't see anybody on the road.
Okay.
And I see a fire in the road. I'm like, this is weird. I guess we're just going to have to roll up on this and see what happens. And I roll up on the fire, and I'm like, Ed? And he's like, hey, what's going on? And I was like, hey, I haven't seen you around in a while. I didn't think you've been here. He's like, oh, no, I've been here. But there was just some brush, and I figured I'd take care of it. And just decided to have a... But he had told me when I stopped to talk to him for his fire, which I then had to drive over, was that he had been there for like a month and a half. I just hadn't known he was there.
Just quietly, just doing his thing.
Just doing his thing. And he's like telling me like he's been watching the progress on the cabin. He's just lurking.
From where?
Well, he's got... So his place, I got my little A-frame, which is a 12 by... how big is it? 12 by 20 footprint.
Okay.
So not very big. Ed has a octagon house that's like 3 stories, and it has a crow's nest.
What?
Yeah. It's
off the grid octagon.
Yeah. It's insane. There's the town up there is Charlemont is a super interesting place. It's like it feels very removed from like the standard go-abouts of of modern day, you know. It's because there's a lot of people like Ed in Charlemont that just like
a lot of octagon houses, huh?
There is a lot of weird houses. I do
love a weird house.
The weirdest one, and you could probably Google this. Okay. It's Little Big House, and I think it is in Deerfield. I think it's in Deerfield or Shelburne Falls. Little Big House. Anybody listening wants to Google that.
Little Big House.
It's a small house, probably 500 square foot.
Okay, very small.
But like all the features on it are massive. It has one door that goes from floor to the roof. It has like one window that like you could drive your car through. Like it's
What?
And it's positioned like just out in the middle of nowhere. It's insane. And there's a bunch of very eclectic people that live up in the woods up there. And there's also a large Tibetan population in Charlemont. And a large Buddhist monk community. Really? Yeah, because I learned this summer. Whatever the Buddhist monk religious text is, it states that there is a energy fault line that runs through this section of the Mohawk Valley, which is where Charlemont is positioned within the Mohawk Valley. There's an energy fault line. So there's like 3 monasteries within a 5-minute bike ride from my place, and like open like Zen gardens and old like stuff that's been there for a long time. Very interesting. And then the Tibetan population there, they bring the trade of like artisan stonemason work. Dry stone masonry, because it's popular in their country. So there is there's some amazing like just dry stone masonry structures all over the place. Like everybody's got, and especially with like the rock walls and everything like that. There's a really interesting group of people there. Wow. Yeah, and a lot of the locals are loggers. The logging's still like booming. There's 7 sawmills within 40 minutes of me.
Oh wow!
And that's where I got all the wood for my cabin. It was like one of the very fun days I had up there. I went and drove around, and I went to each sawmill, and like met the person running the sawmill, told them what my needs were, and it took me to about like the 4th sawmill before I found a guy that was like, yeah, I can fulfill your order. And it was this old timer still running an old circle mill, and like showed me around the whole place. Like I ended up being at his sawmill for like 4.5 hours. He'd give me a tour.
It's a very Nick Guggino story.
Oh, it was so sick. It was so sick. And then like he brought me the lumber, and and he's telling me about like the fairs. The fairs up there are still huge. Like, and they're like
like a county fair.
Like a county fair.
Oh, I thought you meant fair like FARE, like you pay a fare. I was like,
No.
oh.
No, it's like the county fairs. Like
Okay.
it's huge. He, being an old time logger, he used to log with horse and ox.
Wow.
And had a bunch of friends that still log with horse and ox. It's still common there.
What?
Yeah, so they get these logging contracts, and then a guy shows up with a livestock trailer to pull timber out of the woods with ox and horse, because the land is pretty rugged up there.
You can't get a truck. Yeah.
You can't really
you
get like
have to build a road just to get in there. Yeah.
Yes, and some of these forestry management plans call for minimal impact, which is not possible with the big equipment that loggers like to use, like as far as like a hydro cutter, like a timber cat or something like that, which that's common up there as well. But the horse and ox still have a place there because that's the only way that they could stay within the guidelines.
What? This is freaking awesome. Holy shit.
So
Really?
yeah, so this old guy, he's like in his 80s. He calls me. I'm in the back of the van. I went to see him like 3 days prior, and I ordered a lot of wood, an entire cabin's worth of wood, which he hadn't cut yet. He was showing me the logs that he was going to turn into my wood. Mm-hmm. And he tells me, he's like, yeah, it's going to be about a week. And this guy, he's in his 80s. And he's like, it's going to be about a week. And then he calls me at like 5:45 that Thursday. That was like Sunday. I was out driving around. Of course, he was working. He calls me like that Thursday at 5:45. I wasn't even up yet. My phone rings.
In the morning. 5:45 in the morning. Okay.
He's like, hey, are you at your property? And of course, I didn't have to give him an address. I just told him I'm at the end of Mountain View Drive. He's like, oh yeah, I know exactly where that is. Yeah, you know exactly where it is. Dude. He knew everybody who owned the property before me. And so I get the call 5:45, 4 days after I went to talk to him. He's like, I got your lumber ready. Are you up? And I was like, I am. I'll be here. He's like, I'm gonna need you to help me unload it. So I was like, okay. He gets to the property before I even had to go to work that morning, and drops off this lumber and tells me about the county fair and how I got to go, and ended up going to see him at the county fair, and he was there in his 57 Chevy Bel Air, which was sick.
Wow.
But yeah, just like little like towny stuff like that, you know, that's what Charlemont's all about.
It's like the story you just told me is like, it totally is reminiscent of like the stuff in these Cormac McCarthy novels. Just like beckoning back to something that is a generation or two behind where you're at now. And
yeah.
Just like going to sawmills and 80-year-old guy and ox and just do this. Just like, I didn't even know this is where we were going to go in this conversation.
Yeah.
And it's gonna dovetail. When you read that book, it's just gonna dovetail so nicely. Just like
that's sick. I'm excited.
So your cabin's, you said 12 by 20.
Yeah, and it's part of it's outside. So it's 12 by 20 total footprint, but only I'd say like 12 by 20. I would say probably about 17-ish feet. No, 15 feet are. 15 feet are closed in, and then the other 5 feet are a deck, and I have an outdoor kitchen.
And it's A-frame cabin.
Yes.
How tall is it?
It's 14 feet tall on the inside.
Okay.
So it's a little bit taller than on the outside, but I used I wanted to do the least amount of cutting as I could. So
Okay.
I ordered 12-foot stringers for the floor, and then I ordered 16-foot stringers for the roof. And all I did was cut the angles on everything, and then stood it up, and that's where it ended up. And yeah, it's got a really like the roof's like they're almost walls. I mean, they're 77 degrees,
Okay.
which is like your average roof is like 10 to 20 degrees steepness. So, yeah, it's pretty steep roof and tall on the inside. I might do a loft at some point, but right now I was just worried about getting inside.
Yeah.
Carly put an ultimatum on. She was like, I'm not coming up to see you unless I can come sleep next to a wood stove. So I was like, all right, I gotta put the hammer down, and she helped out a ton too. So,
So you were somehow working full time, digging
yeah,
and building features on the downhill park, and building a cabin.
yeah, it was.
And you told me you rode bikes all the time.
Yeah, it was.
Do you have more time in the day than I do, or like what? How
It was really like, I tried working like the bikes into every day if I could. So like if I rode to work most days. So that
How far was that?
It was not far. It was 4 miles to work, 4 miles back, but it was 4 miles down. So
4 miles uphill home.
yeah. So getting to work was actually faster on my bike than it would be in the car, between like getting into the car, starting it, letting it warm up, get to work, park, shut it off, blah, blah, blah. Getting on the bike, like I was just like, and I had like a 6 single track cut, so I could like get down off my property to the main road really quick. And I would leave another bicycle at work, and then I'd ride to work, and then right after work ended, I would hop on like my big rig, like my mountain bike, and go do a ride at work, get done, hop on the other bike, then ride back up home. So I would just ride every day after work, Monday through Thursday. We did 410s.
Okay.
And
okay, that makes sense.
And then Friday, I would try and spend like the entire day on the bicycle. And that was it. Like,
It's so nice, dude.
it would just meander. Like some days I'd feel like a killer, and I would go out and I would hammer. Like I did the biggest ride I did solo this year was 80. But like 80 there, it was 80 miles, and it was 10,000 feet of climbing.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's like it's nonstop there. You're up and down. So
That's freaking crazy, dude.
it took me all day. I mean, I was out on the bike for 12 hours for an 80.
Dude.
But,
I used to do that. Now I have so much. You just.
and then after Friday, Saturday and Sunday, I would work on the cabin, and like that would just like lock in on the cabin. But I would like enjoy it. Like I'd sleep in, wake up at like 8, and then just work until like I started getting frustrated with something, and then stop. And I wouldn't force the pace. And I purposely built the A-frame because of the truss design that I could use. And the truss design that I was using allowed me to build them all myself and then get them all staged. And then once I got all the trusses staged, I brought the guys that are on trail crew. They took the day off work to help me, and we stood all the trusses up in one day. And
The first one's probably the hardest one, right?
the first one was the hardest one, and then it was also really hard when we had to take them back down, because we put them up, and of course, like this rough cut lumber is not. I mean, it varies up to like 5/8 of an inch. It's like quite a bit, and some of the angles I was cutting were like really long. So like at the peak of my roof, my one cut, it was like an 18-inch cut across the two, right? Because it was just such a long angle. You know how it goes. So it's like if I'm off a degree, my cut is off an inch and a half at the bottom. And so it's like everything was very far from perfect. So we stood them all up. And
took them all down.
I looked at him. I was like, dude, I can't put a roof on this. So I've like really quick. I was like, well, we take them down. If we pair these two up, spin that one around, and like so we like literally just like spun everything around and like shifted it until I had a roof line that was straight enough to put roof on. But yeah, that's how I had the time to not to jump around too much, but that's how I got the time to do that stuff, was just like that strict schedule, and I stuck to it because, you know, like I wanted to make sure I enjoyed the cabin, but like one of the main reasons I went back up there was because I wanted to ride my bike with my friends. So I wanted to make sure I got my time in riding my bike with my friends. That guy shut off?
I don't know.
Is it never on?
I maybe never turned this light on. Oops. Oh, there you go. That didn't really change much lighting wise. Sorry. Yeah, I was gonna say before, like, you just have no idea how much free time you have until you don't have it. Right. And when you do have it, you have no way of really knowing how much you have. Mm-hmm. And when you said, like, oh, I get to, nice summer and you get to spend a whole day riding a bike, it like, oh, God, it hit me in the feels, dude.
Yeah.
I had a good run. I had many years of just having a lot of fun and riding a lot of bikes and, waking up and going on a ride and eating breakfast and then going on a ride. And,
yeah.
Now I can't do that anymore.
Yeah, you're pitted with the family deal, and
it's not so much the family, although like, yeah, a little bit the family, because even the free time then, like I watch my daughter during the day.
Yeah,
and you can only do so much while you're taking care of a toddler.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and like 40-mile mountain bike rides isn't one of those things.
Right.
I could ride on the canal with the bike trailer, but that's actually really kind of a pain in the butt.
Right.
And riding with a toddler is actually like riding with a bunch of your friends. Halfway through it, they start like crying, and like maybe they shit themselves, and you're like, "Bro, again?"
Yeah, right. Trying to bum a smoke or something.
Yeah.
I'm sure. Like, dude, when she starts getting older, it's gonna be so sick.
Yeah. I'm in the thick of it, right?
Yeah.
It's funny. You my wife. You worked with her briefly.
Yeah.
I'm dealing with this better than she is.
Okay.
And because the biggest sacrifice isn't just our time individually, it's that we have like zero time together.
Mm-hmm.
Because Dara, my wife, works early.
Yep.
And then I work late, so we don't have to pay for daycare or a babysitter. One of us is always with Alice,
right?
My daughter. But it also means there's very, very little time that Dara and I get to spend together.
Yeah.
And being men, I think it's fair to say you're a man as well. We're goal focused. We're a little more long term focused. I think men are more likely to deal with like stuff that just sucks right now because no, it's gonna be worth it, and yeah. So I'm like, yeah, it sucks, but like it's gonna be way better, especially because raising a human being isn't easy, and we're trying to do this Montessori method where it's like way more intensive with like working with her at a very young age, and it's supposed to pay off later. I'll let you know in a couple of years if it's worth it.
Right.
Yeah, but we get like somewhere between maybe an hour and 20 minutes a day when Dara gets home and before I come in.
Yep.
And on the weekends, I'm here. I'm open for 12 hours on Saturday and Sunday. So like we get up, basically immediately make breakfast, and I come to the skate park. Mm-hmm. And almost every night of the week when I get home, my wife and daughter are already in bed.
Right.
So it's just it's tough. It's obviously it's stressful, and like I said, she's not dealing with it as well.
Yeah.
And I started saying this because like we're like simultaneously talking about how much this sucks while also talking about having another child.
Right.
I tell her, I'm like, well, it's actually going to be worse than this because there'll be 2 kids.
Right.
And 1 kid's really not too bad. Like, all this, like earlier I said, went to this bookstore, went to that bookstore, I can go to the Y. I could do all sorts of things with 1 toddler.
Yeah.
Once you have 2, and they're different ages with different needs, the logistics, I think, on everything becomes much more challenging.
What's the motivation behind a second kid?
One motivation and this is not the primary one, but it's just the first one that comes to mind. I have two uncles.
Uh-huh.
My dad's older brother only had daughters. My dad's younger brother never had kids.
Uh-huh.
My younger brother just had his first child that's a daughter.
Okay.
And I had a daughter. So in some, basically my family, if one of us doesn't have a son, my family name is just like, it's the end of the line
Right.
for this family, which I guess isn't that big a deal. Because obviously Alice, my daughter, will still live on. It's just symbolically the name's gone. I don't know.
She's going to be a pretty heavy hitter. She's probably going to be running one with a hyphen if she gets married.
Yeah. And then the other thing is, from a moral or not moral, ethics, a little different. Women to be beyond replacement, every woman needs to have 2.1 children. And I don't know how you have a 0.1 child. So
Explain that beyond replacement.
in order for population to make, if every couple had 2 children,
Yep.
population stays the same, presuming there's 100% pairing and no one's dying,
I know what you're saying.
right? So in order for civilization to move forward, the average birth rate for women in a particular society or definable group needs to be 2.1.
Interesting.
So I think population collapse is actually going to be a huge problem in the future. So I think I have an ethic responsibility to have one more child with my wife, because then she will have 3.
Yep.
Although, there's stuff there too. But
Right.
and I think that I think I see people like you, and I have a lot of friends who are like good people with good heads on their shoulders that are like passionate and care. And I'm like, you should have kids. It feels like so many people are they're like too worried. They're worried about the world, or I wouldn't bring a kid into this world, or what the future is going to be, and all. Like they're just worried about all these things that once you actually have a child, immediately dissolve and don't matter whatsoever.
Right.
And I just see people that are great people, and I'm like, dude, you should have a kid. Like, oh, we're not like. I had a guy here in my disc golf league on Monday, and I knew his girlfriend because she used to come to ladies' night, and Boris is a really good dude.
Yeah.
And they got married, I think maybe a year and a half ago. I'm like, oh, how's your wife? How's everything? Like, you guys have kids? No, we're not gonna have kids. Like, we don't want to bring a kid into this world. And I'm like, you should. Like, you're a good dude, and she's a good, good person. And I think you should probably really rethink that, right?
Yeah.
Like, a lot of times people, like, too many kids are mistakes. Statistically speaking,
Right.
I think the majority of babies are probably whoopses.
That's when any of my friends tell me they're having a kid, I'm like, I wait for them to hit me with like, and we're excited, or you know what I mean? Like, I'm having a kid, I'll just be like, and I know what you're saying.
Like you should have 7 kids. Actually, there's a guy here tonight. He has 7 kids.
Really?
You know how rare that is now in America?
Dude, it's in Charlemont, very common.
Very common.
One of my buddy has one of the kids who works for me on Trail Crew. One of my really good friends up there, Xavier. He comes from like a family of 12.
Wow.
Yeah, and he and his family are awesome. They're amazing people. But I hate that argument of like, I don't want to bring a kid into this world. It's such a cop out. I get it.
100%.
It's tough. It's
100%.
it's nasty and it sucks. But like, the only way it's going to get better is bringing up good people.
Yeah.
And I think like, the more Carly and I are with each other, like we talk about it, it comes up, right? And like we go back and forth, and it's like, well, maybe we don't have to have a kid, but we'll adopt a kid, or have a kid and adopt a kid, because she wants to adopt a kid, and I think that'd be kind of cool.
I don't think it could. I think it'd be similar, but I don't think it could be the same.
I don't think it would be the same. I agree,
No,
and her and I are on the same page of that, where it's like if we do have offspring, it'd be cool to have offspring. But
dude, I could tell. Okay, sorry, I cut you off.
I was just gonna say, it's like, if we did do it, I would want it to be kind of like the way have somebody be able to stay home, like do some homeschooling, not the whole time, but like at least while they're young, at least to get them through like K-5, be able to homeschool and be positioned in a way that I could spend time with the kids, where it's or she could. But yeah, because
Yeah, we're homeschooling.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
the whole way to
I don't know.
through high school. You're gonna see.
Well, I live in the city,
Yeah.
and there's no chance in hell I would send my kid to the city schools.
Right.
Although I've heard from high school city teachers that it's actually not too bad at the high school level because most of the, I don't want to say bad kids, but a lot of the stuff you'd expect in a city school, they kind of they already dropped out and gone by high school.
Yeah.
Or at least by the latter half of high school. So it's actually not as bad. They said it was like the 4 through 8 where it's like really rough.
Yeah.
And I don't have any experience with this. This is just what I've heard from actually more than one city school teacher.
Okay.
But anyway, as long as I live in the city and can't afford a different option, really the only thing is a homeschool situation. And it doesn't scare me at all.
Right. It sounds great.
Especially because school is just horribly inefficient. I watched when my wife's son was doing Zoom school during COVID, and I was like, this is like a joke, you know. And I have a lot of friends who are teachers, and they're like, yeah, it's kind of really inefficient, and it's tough. You know, it's a hard job. I think, kind of, maybe not, but
it's definitely can't be super easy. I mean, just to see like from the. I mean, throughout high school and through college, I've always tried to be very engaged when I'm at school. Because it's tough for me. I have to consciously be like, but to see what the teachers deal with as far as kids not caring at all, it's got to wear you down. It's got to wear you down. It's got to be tough, and I just feel like from a student standpoint, it's getting to the point now where like you're not going to get anything out of it unless you're really you're seeking it. You know, it's not something that's going to be passed on to you, and the younger kids can't do that, and that's why I feel like where I see the homeschooling making a lot of sense for younger kids, because you can as a parent be like, this is really important. I'm personally invested in this tiny human's development, and where somebody had a teacher who's dealing with 35 kids that are all over the place might not be able to do that.
It's one of those scenarios where oftentimes the people who criticize it haven't done it. They don't know anything about it. It's like the people who have skate parks that don't allow bikes, saying it's because bikes ruin your ramps. I go, well, how do you know, right?
Yeah.
It's a lot of times there are a lot of people that really don't like homeschooling.
Yeah.
And then it's like, well, what do you know about it? Like it's like all hearsay from whatever. I deal with a lot of homeschoolers at the skate park, and the homeschool landscape is very different post-COVID than pre-COVID.
Yeah.
And I've heard people say things like, oh, well, you could just cheat, and I'm like, well, let's look at this. From game theory perspective here, who has a bigger incentive to make sure your kid doesn't cheat? Like the parent who wants their kid to be successful in life,
right?
Or the teacher with 30 kids in front of them?
Exactly.
Which also, like, test scores are really important, right? The schools do all sorts of things to manipulate test scores to make the schools look good, because that's really good for driving people to move to your town, and that increases tax revenue.
Yep.
So there's definitely incentive structures there that affect it. Teachers get the summer off, which is sick. I have one buddy, close friend of mine. I don't know if he actually listens to the show. I'll find out this week, because then he'll probably comment on this.
Yeah.
He will not come on the show, which is smart of him, because he is a teacher, and if you do anything, they could find it out. But it's really, really refreshing. He's a buddy I grew up riding BMX with. Partied with, like, and it's like one of your friends that's like just hilarious to think, that dude's teaching X to fifth graders, whatever. It's
right.
But he was saying, he's like, it's a great job. He's like, it's pretty good money. I get the summers off. I get a ton of money by tutoring. I get a summer job, and like,
that's cool.
The narrative you always hear is that teachers work so much and they don't get paid enough, and blah blah blah. So it's just to hear someone say the other way around, it's like, oh well, maybe he's wrong about it. I don't know.
Right.
But
I'm sure it works great for some people.
Yeah.
I'm sure it works great for some people.
One of the things he said to me that's really tough as a teacher nowadays is like you basically can't leave. They're like not allowed to fail kids anymore. in
Right.
many instances. So no matter how poorly the kid does, right? No matter how little homework he does, no matter how disruptive he is, no matter how much classes he cuts, the protocol is basically push him to the next grade through the system.
Yeah.
And that's definitely tough.
Yeah.
Because I know as far as the psychological data and research on this stuff is that basically the most disruptive kid brings down the whole class, right? Like,
Yeah.
I don't want to say like it's not necessarily the dumbest kid, because it's not but it is the smartest kids who get hurt most by the most disruptive kids.
Right.
So if you just keep them around and keep pushing them through, it's actually going to hurt everyone as on a whole. And then when you look at a kid who may grow up inner city and they're trying to get out of there, they can be shot in the foot by the people around them and the system that's trying to help them by leaving them in a classroom with a bunch of disruptive students and they're not really allowed to discipline kids anymore like they used to. I'm not saying whether it was good or bad the way they used to. I just know they're not allowed to,
Right.
But a lot of that starts from the home.
Yeah.
Like the point of getting in trouble at school historically was backed up by the fact that when you get home, you get punished at home, right? It was a 1-2 punch.
Mm-hmm.
When you have absent parents at home or parents that don't care at home or whatever it is, getting suspended at school doesn't mean anything. It just means a day off.
Right.
And when your mom's checked out anyway, who cares? It's like
Yeah.
I had that in my later teen. Like, oh, cool, suspended, great.
Right. Right. Yeah.
But going back to the kid thing, having a kid is absolutely incredible. Like I'm not a religious person.
Yeah.
But the only language I can really use to describe what it's like is like religious language. I don't even have the words. It's truly incredible.
Yeah.
And I have a life that is embedded in a lot of meaning and purpose, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've had the skate park, but I've always had like my bike brand and the bike shops and building the scene in the community. And for the longest time, I also thought like I didn't want to bring kid into this world.
Yep.
Although my thought changed on that. I'll get back to that in a minute. And I was like, oh, me doing the skate park is my substitute for not having children. I will basically be a subcontracted, dad or uncle for a few hours a week. I'm going to do my community service, my civic duty as being like a parent for hire, right?
Right.
Then I met someone who already had a kid and wanted to have another kid. And it was a different thought process. Like I was thinking about having a child in an abstract sense. But then when there's someone in front of me who's like, I've done this and I want to do this with you, it's now a real thing to think about.
Right.
It's not just like an idea. It's a real thing.
Yeah.
And so it was different. And I was like, I don't think I want to do that. And I kind of came around to it and was like, you know what? I think I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
And part of what my mind changed is that mentality of, oh, this world is messed up. I don't want to bring a kid into this world. It's not that I stopped thinking about the eroding systems around us. It's that I realized, wait a minute. I think my child, can have a disproportionate chance of being successful if I raise them the right way.
Yeah.
Because of everything around us, right?
Right.
If I, teach her to work hard when many people don't know how to work hard anymore. Like people are so concerned about being so nice to their kids, they never teach their kids the valuable stuff they need to know how to function in the real world. Mm-hmm. And then they're just like wieners and crybabies and like it's like insane how people don't want to work anymore. And I know that sounds like a grumpy old guy.
Yeah.
But just like so many places you go nowadays, everyone working everywhere seems to not have like a sense of urgency when they work. There isn't that like duty. There isn't that like pride of authorship. Like regardless of what job you have. Like when I worked at Toys R Us, like I killed it at Toys R Us, right?
I didn't know you worked at Toys R Us.
Yeah, when I was right out of high school, I worked at Toys R Us.
Kind of sick.
And this actually personifies the story.
Yeah.
I got hired seasonally to unload trucks. Basically, you get there like late at night
Yeah.
And I'm just unloading trucks, and it goes on these different carts depending on where it goes, and that was it, right? And I got paid more than most people got paid because it was a seasonal job, right?
Yep.
And after like the 2 months or month and a half of the seasonal work ended, they actually kept me.
Okay.
Because a lot of people that work at places like Toys R Us, they're not super competent or hardworking people. Take that for what it is. I'm not trying to criticize whatever, but I was competent enough that they were like, oh, this guy, we got to keep this guy around, And so then I ended up working there, and I was making more than other people because I got hired at the seasonal wage, And then I ended up basically doing the job of like 3 people. And I was 18, 19, and it was like, so I was like doing the truck stuff, and I was building the bikes and the Power Wheels stuff, and then I was doing customer pickups. Like at Toys R Us, you just kind of, you get to pick up a barcode and you scan it, and then someone brings up the big box or whatever. So I was doing that and do it like inventory back end stuff.
Yeah.
I basically was doing everything behind the whatever.
Yeah.
In the back end of the store.
Doing back end stuff at Toys R Us, all right?
Yeah. And all that was is because I just, if I was going to work, and this is me as a 19-year-old, and I'm sure as a 19-year-old I was still an idiot and like effing off or whatever, but like it kept me around. And then that got me my first job at a bike shop.
Right.
Because my dad's buddy owned a bike shop, and I bumped into him. I said, I don't know, I'm building bikes at Toys R Us. And he's like, well, if you ever want a real job,
right,
do the real deal. I was like, okay, cool,
That's awesome.
So I took a pay cut to work at a bike shop, Freehold Bicycles.
Right.
And this would have been 2007, I think. 2006? I think 2006. Because I've been doing bike industry for 19 years now.
That's crazy, dude.
And just because I took the extra initiative. So
right.
to bring that one home, I think, if you can teach your kid to be, dependable and reliable and hardworking and thorough.
Yeah.
Based on how a lot of kids are, at least where I live here, it seems like you can really set them up for success.
Yeah, definitely.
But that also means you have to, be the kind of person that's willing to sit in a room full of people and tell them they're all wrong,
Right. Yeah, I think, just based on how knowing you and Dara, the way you guys operate, like it's going to be one of those things that's like in the household, as a given. Base, especially with you owning the business. Both my parents were business owners, and it was just like growing up, it was like, well, if you're gonna do something, it's just go do it. That kind of mentality was just always in my face. In an Orwellian sense, right? What you see your parents do, the way your parents function in the world, is all that you really know. Mm-hmm. Especially because we don't have extended families like we used to have culturally. Right.
You used to live with like grandparents and uncles, and like you weren't just around like your dad. You were around like your dad and your dad's siblings, and like there was just so many more people around you. So you saw a broader spectrum, right? My father, he wasn't a business owner; he was a mailman, but we were really poor, and he did everything. Like if whatever broke in the house, he would fix it or try to fix it, or he would have a buddy come over on the weekend who was an electrician, and they would do it. Yeah. So when I grew up, that's what I saw. Like you figure it out, you make it happen, you call your buddy.
Right.
If you grow up in a household with a father who's mechanically inept, all he knows how to do is call someone to fix it and then complain about how much it costs, right? So then when you grow up, that's all you do. Like you don't even, in many instances, you don't understand you can just do this. Mm-hmm. My same friend I brought up earlier, who's a teacher, he just had a kid too. And we were hanging out with our children and just crazy. All the things we did when we were younger to be like, holy shit, like we're like hanging out with our kids. This is ridiculous. Yeah. He said to me once how much I had this huge, significant impact on him because his alternator died in his car. Uh-huh. And I was like, well, fix it. He's like, what do you mean? You order the part and like we'll fix it, and like he's like that point in time, he's like, I learned that from you. I didn't learn that from my father or my uncle. It's like that moment was like, and it sucked. If everyone ever did an alternator on a Cherokee, it was an absolute nightmare. But we did it. Yeah. And like he's like, that was a moment in my life where I realized like you can just do stuff. Right. I think too many people don't understand that you can just do stuff because they never saw it. They just don't know. Yeah. So we're going to do it. And the fact that your parents were entrepreneurs, or if you like that word or not, a lot of people don't like that word, but like you saw them do it, so you do it. Yeah. Yeah. And I think about that all the time in terms of vehicles. I don't know how
I feel so fortunate to be able to know how to work on stuff and always trying to pass that on to whoever I can. Because I couldn't imagine even just owning a vehicle and being nervous about something happening to it because you don't know, you could be totally helpless.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, it is really important to be able to just know that you can do stuff.
Or be willing to try.
Right, that's true.
If you never try, I think so many people of my age and younger, millennials and younger, they're so paralyzed by the anxiety that they could fail that they don't even try. And, if you don't, like, failing means you at least tried, right? Like, and I fail all the time. I'm like a constant failure because I'm just doing so much else. Like, I have typos in so much stuff I put out because I'm a dyslexic idiot, and I just keep putting it out, and so it gets all diluted, and no one reads anything freaking anyway, and like I don't care.
Yeah.
I
remember. Speaking of trying stuff, I'm drywalling at my house right now. And
it's hard.
It's a mess. It sucks. But I'm doing it, and I was just saying, like, YouTube's a crazy place.
Yeah.
You learned how to do it all on YouTube, figure out what tools I needed or whatever. I'm not a drywaller, but at the last job I was at the metal fab shop, the last job I had before I went back to working at Trail Crew, I was feeling like dissatisfied. Just couldn't really get a grip on like why I didn't like it. It felt like it should have been a good job, right? Like, you like welding, right? It's like,
yeah.
I was welding all day. I'd go in, I'd lay beads, freaking, it was mint. Welder was mint, had nice gear. Should have been like a cakewalk, but I was feeling like something was missing. I couldn't figure it out. And the quality that they were requiring at the shop wasn't high. We were a production shop. It was like fast. If you did it nice, good for you. If you did it shit, okay. So it didn't really matter, and I was having trouble with that, and I was talking to the guy who owned the shop, Mike, and I was talking to him about my dissatisfaction with the things that are going on at the shop, and I was like, based on the way that we do our quality control and everything, you guys have removed my opportunity to fail. And the removal of that opportunity to fail ruins the job for me.
Because there's no progress. It's just
do. It's just do.
Yeah.
And that's like, that's the great thing. And I think there's so much of that's missing, like you can, with school, like you had said, in a lot of workplaces, you have a very tangible point of failure that could happen at any time, right? With the skate park, whether you're working on the ramps, if they suck, you're gonna hear about it. If
they're good, I hear about it too.
Yeah, right.
They're never good.
But if there's a something goes wrong on the business ends, you're gonna feel the pain from that, and it's why I enjoy the trail building, the mountain biking side of things too, because it's a very instant. Like if you fail, it's like it all comes crashing down. You know that you failed, but if you succeed, you also reap the benefits from the success as well.
And trails are like infinitely refinable, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like you're always chasing it. Like, oh, this is like almost perfect. It could be a little better.
Right. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so many people think that they mistake setting a goal as just setting a parameter for failure.
Right.
Right. That's what they get stuck in. And you have to have goals, right? Mm-hmm. You have to like. If you don't have a goal, you're not like okay. This is my view. I think we generally have about the same. We all have generally about the same amount of anxiety, right? Imagine it was like a fuel or something. Imagine your anxiety was a tangible thing.
Yeah.
There is some variance between person to person. Some people have more, some people have less, but generally you have this certain amount of anxiety. And all anxiety is negative motion tied to the future, right? It's that pressure you feel about what could happen, how could things go, what if this happened. It's all negative emotion tied to the unknown, what you don't know, the future, right? So when you go through and you put your ducks in a row and you think about life and you self-define your goals and you voluntarily choose the responsibilities you're going to have in your life, you take all of that whole shelf of anxiety that's just like, it's Play-Doh, right? And then you start shaping it into different things that you can kind of understand, right? And then each one of those things, each object you build out of that anxiety clay, right, starts to look like something. It seems less unknown, right? To where if you choose to define no future goal, you have this ambiguous vat of Play-Doh anxiety that just weighs on you with this existential dread.
Right.
And you can't even define why I feel this way about the future. And people will falsely value having a dearth of responsibility as if that will mitigate the anxiety of choosing goals, right? I'm not saying people are irresponsible. I think they try to avoid choosing a responsibility as if it will minimize anxiety, when in fact, it just leaves the anxiety being worse because it's unknown anxiety.
Right.
Like, I have a lot of things to be anxious about, with the business and the ramps and the liability of the business and the daughter and, the feeling like the relationship between my wife is eroding because we're not spending time together. There's a lot of stuff to be anxious about.
Right.
But I have everything in context and timelines and like trying to balance it so I don't ever really feel like emotional because of my anxiety. I mean, I've sat in my car and cried plenty of times this year, but like,
listen to Linkin Park, let it out.
No,
not Linkin Park.
No, I never did Linkin Park.
Crawling in my skin.
No. And I'm about to. Oh, jeez.
No, I hear you, dude. It's the time. It's like the timer. It's like it's always ticking. We always have time's always passing by, and I wrote in 6th grade. I wrote an essay about how scared I was that I wasn't going to have enough time to do the things that I wanted to do before I died. In 6th grade.
Wow, that is. Wow, that's pretty profound.
It was like I remember I was like, at that time, and I was like getting into middle school. I remember like coming to terms with the fact that our time is limited and our opportunities are endless, and that ratio was scary as hell to me, and it still is. But it's like that anxiety, the fear of that ratio, is what, it's like gets me out of bed, or like I'm working to get out of bed earlier every morning. Like I want to eat better. I want to like just be better in certain aspects just so I can enjoy more of those endless opportunities, you know? It's definitely, it's not based on anything but that, it's just like, just want to be able to feel, be able to take advantage of those opportunities, and that's what helps my anxiety. As soon as I feel like I was telling you, yesterday before we did the podcast, like having trouble with those transition periods, moving from place to place. It's like you let it catch up to you a little bit, and you're like, I feel like there's opportunities that I'm missing out on, and that's when that anxiety gets to me, Yeah,
we were talking about that. We were saying, you said life was just kind of, you said life was kind of easy out there. Not necessarily easy and far, like obviously it was physically demanding, but you're saying, I was building this cabin, I'm in the woods.
I knew what to do.
I'm digging stuff. You're just doing stuff, right?
Yeah.
Then you come home, you got a house here, the internet.
Yeah, the internet.
Girlfriend. Just all of a sudden now it's like, do I need all this stuff? Like you were so happy and content having nothing. And I was sharing a similar sentiment. And when I used to have time to travel, when I was, before I was married and, the skate park was doing well, I'd close the skate park for a week or two in May. in August.
Yeah.
And I would just take these trips, and I would just like, I never had a trip itinerary, but I would kind of like just meander. And I just love it so much. I like have like my mountain bike and my bike and like a percolator and some stuff.
Yeah.
My guitar and a little sleeping bag in the back of the truck. And I was like, you know what? I could never go back. Like, I could be okay with never going back. And I have this thought, and I've asked other people, and sometimes people share this sentiment, and sometimes they don't. But once in a while, maybe once a month or so, I'll like turn off my street, or I'll get onto 490 on the off ramp, and I just have this thought: I could just keep driving. I could just go somewhere. I don't like.
Yeah.
I could just leave all this behind. Like I don't
Right.
like there's like a romanticization of just leaving behind all these voluntary responsibilities we've chosen to have.
Yeah.
Which is interestingly dovetails with my previous conversation about meeting.
Yeah.
And there's just something nice about like not caring, having less to care about,
Yeah.
And you said you came home and all of a sudden there's all this stuff, and you use a great word. You said you just fell into a melancholy for a couple of days there.
Yeah. Yeah, and it
Stood me up last week.
dude, I did I would have came in and hard styled it last week. But yeah, it's weird. I mean, it really is. It's shocking. It really is shocking. Like and it's the little stuff that gets to me, man. I mean, I was talk some stats. I got there and at the end of May. I came home at the end of November, so it's that June, July, August. What comes after August? September, October, November. I was there for 6 months.
Half a year.
Half a year. I used 2 rolls of paper towel. Like,
Simple. Dude.
enough said. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like I'm taking garbage out once every 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like no food waste. There's no Tupperware containers. There's no stuff going bad in my freezer. I'm not wasting any money. It's like
simple.
It's so simple. And it's like I come home and it's like, I love like the life that I have with my girlfriend and our dogs, and like I like being around my family and stuff like that. But there's aspects of this existence that I have here that just kind of go against things that I now define as like my core morals. You know what I mean? It's like I'm trying to leave as little of a footprint as possible, and I'm forced to just consume simply by being here. Even no matter how hard I try, it's like it just doesn't work here to not be consumptuous. It's
when you're in this like endless suburbia.
Yeah.
It's like everything is consumption based. Like you can't just like do nothing and be chill. Like it's like, oh, you want to go here? You want to go there? Let's get this. Let's go get this. It's like you can't just like keep it really, really simple.
Yeah.
I would love to keep it. I'm very simple. Like I'm very like I could just eat ground beef and just season it and have an egg and just be fine every day, every meal, and I kind of okay. But that doesn't work for most people.
I've eaten the same thing. Been eating the same thing since I don't even remember how long. I mean, it's like cabbage, carrots, and red meat for every meal, except for the bread. I'm throwing some bread in there recently, but
poison.
Yeah, it is. It's tough, and being surrounded by so much consumption is crazy as well.
Yeah.
Like even if I'm not taking part in it, it's like
I couldn't believe when I had a roommate for the first time how much trash they made. Just
right.
Like, I would, like you said, I would take out a garbage every like 3 weeks, and it would never really smell because there wasn't any really rottable stuff.
Yeah.
And because I always was a really simple, lean life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like going into. Got to complain about Henrietta a little bit. Just got to throw it in there.
Worst, dude.
Dude, I was just thinking about it the other day. I was like, Troy, New York is like the Henrietta of Albany.
Yeah,
but
my buddy lives in Troy.
Yeah.
He's been on the show.
Who?
Matt Smith.
I got a buddy from. I actually met him here Toby Pintinelli, I think is how you say his last name. It's a cool dude. I only rode with him once, but he's from Troy, and he was like, if you're gonna live in a place like this, you have to be so comfortable with the garbage. And I think he meant like all of the garbage, not just physical garbage.
There's so much of America that's just like this endless suburban hellscape, you know?
Yeah.
It's like utterly like borderline impossible to walk or bike anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just like, it's so car centric and just strip mall, no personality.
Yeah.
You know, aside from few topographical features, you could be in like any state.
Yeah.
You know, I really appreciate Rochester in the city proper because there are so few chain stuff. There is so many unique businesses, restaurants, and coffee shops. A lot of places aren't quite like that.
I agree. Rochester, out of all the cities I've ever visited, is like, I mean, it's definitely has its quirks, but it's awesome. I love it here, and it really is cool. And I love showing people this city.
Yeah,
that's one of my favorite things. Like when my boys came up from Mass last winter, and I was able to show them around, and like getting people stoked on our little slice up here is sweet.
Rochester's an easy city to understand. Mm-hmm. From like a geography and urbanization perspective, you know, you have a river that runs north-south directly through it, right?
Yeah.
You have the lake directly north of it as a cap, right? So it can only go 5 to 7 miles north, right?
Right.
Then you have Irondequoit Bay, and it's kind of just a circular city that kind of goes out like a star, like a sun, right? It's a really kind of simple. All the colleges are south, right?
Right.
It's a really simple place to understand. Many other cities are like. I've been through Syracuse a lot, and Syracuse doesn't seem to be quite as simple to understand. And I go to Buffalo for work every month, and I don't really understand Buffalo. It just seems confusing to me.
Yeah, yeah.
Philly is kind of similar because you have Broad is north to south, and I don't know what's the east to west one. I don't know. There's like this grid with Center City right in the middle, and then you have the Schuylkill River on this side. You have the Delaware River on that side,
mm-hmm.
and so you kind of have it contained. You have geographical things that keep you to understand where you're at.
Right. That makes sense.
And Rochester has the colleges and the history and the Erie Canal. I think Rochester's awesome.
I've been thinking about doing a bike ride lately where I just ride to the worst places. like just to get comfortable with them. Like, because it is
like in the hood or
no. Not like that, but like I want to ride through like failed Rust Belt towns and like through places that have some like are struggling with lack of industry, and places that are getting taken over by strip malls and losing their culture.
I think if it wasn't for the colleges, Rochester would be that.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. But I think there's a lot to be. I like to think maybe I'm being too optimistic to thinking that I think there is still snippets of culture left in these places, but we don't see it when you drive through there.
I think Rochester is on the up and up.
Oh, Rochester for sure.
It's crazy because it seems like many of the this is like our Malik Evans will be his second term, and Mayor Warren had her two terms, and I think the city is run pretty poorly.
Okay.
But from when I moved here,
mm-hmm.
Rochester is so much nicer.
Yeah.
The crime has gotten worse post-COVID for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But like the amount of money going into the downtown revitalization, the filling in of the inner loop, like downtown looks so different from when I moved here. And I'm nerd for like the Google Street View and everything, so I'll poke around and look at old maps, and like there was so many more vacant lots and dilapidated buildings and stuff downtown than now. And even like the skate park downtown, like everything from down the skate park all the way up to the college campus there, or all the way south to the college campus there, was like horrible when I moved here. Those were all projects that got tore down right when I moved here.
Right.
It's crazy. It's like so much nicer.
Yeah. I think Rochester itself is great, but I feel it's like the places that like Henrietta, And also,
Dude, where I'm from in New Jersey is just endless Henrietta.
right. But there's some culture there.
No,
Nothing.
there is very little culture in New Jersey. It's like every town is these lifeless towns like Henrietta, where there's no downtown, there's no main strip.
Right.
It's just like strip malls and developments.
Right.
Like there's very little personality anywhere, and what personality and uniqueness there is in much of Central Jersey would be if you stumbled upon one of like the really rich areas where you're like, oh, these are all mansions.
Right.
Otherwise, it's just like super bland.
Damn.
The shore is kind of cool. When you stay along the shore, there's some unique stuff around there.
Yeah.
But it's just the housing market's so hot that the incentive to tear anything down to build houses is so strong that
Right.
anything that was cool and unique is almost entirely gone. I love New Jersey. I romanticized it for so long after I moved here, and now when I go back there, I just drive around and I go, what the hell did I ever like about this place? It is so utterly bland and ununique, and
Yeah.
just, again, the shore is cool. I don't really like the beach personally. I'm not a big swimmer, but like going down the Jersey Shore is actually really, really cool.
Right.
The rest of it's like North Jersey's cool. Northwest Jersey, where it's all mountainous, is cool.
Yeah.
But a lot of Jersey just is bleh.
It's really interesting hearing my dad grew up in Henrietta over on Strawberry Hill. I don't know if you know where that is.
I do not know where that is.
It's kind of like if you got off 490 on Highland,
Okay.
you know where the Speedway is?
Yep.
That gas station? It's like that neighborhood that's like behind the Speedway.
Okay.
When he moved to Henrietta, it was more reminiscent of like Scottsville.
Yeah, it's like more open and old farmland and
Old
stuff.
farmland.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And there was some like, there was neighborhood. He lived in a neighborhood, but he remembers them like putting in the highways.
Yeah.
And then like part of his neighborhood, everyone got bought out. And then like 2 blocks over, they put the Jersey barriers in for the highway, and putting in Marketplace Mall, which now officially announced it's closing.
Wow. I'm in malls everywhere closing. I have a crazy mall thing to tell you.
But that was pretty much it. So it's like, it's interesting. Like when he was growing up there, like everybody had a story. It was unique. There was like, the group of kids running around, like ripping dirt bikes all over the place and raising hell. And now it's like, you go to Walmart and that's pretty much it.
Where I'm from in Jersey, when I was a kid, was like maybe half developments and half like open old farmland, and by the time I left, it was almost entirely just developments.
Really?
It's like the traffic is just horrendous because the roads weren't made for just that many freaking people.
Right.
And like I grew up on this property. It was like a farm. We had 170 acres.
Holy
we
cow.
weren't farming, but it was like an old farmhouse.
Yeah.
And someone came and did the fields around the house, and it was like probably half fields and half forest. And my brothers just played in the woods.
That's awesome.
And like, it got leveled. Like the
Right.
entire forest got
What?
tore down, and it's like a housing development of like who knows, like tons. Probably 100 houses. I don't know.
Right.
And I moved like half a mile down the road to this like 250-year-old house that like really should have been registered like historic because it was just crazy old.
Yeah.
And then that got condemned after we left because it was bad. And directly behind us, the woods we played in there turned into another housing development where they put in like 40 houses. And this just happened to every single, open land in that area.
Right.
And now, almost all of Central Jersey is like this. Monmouth County is where I'm from. And it's just development, just house, and no personality and nothing cool or unique.
Right.
It's just sad.
Yeah, it is. It's a bummer. And up in Mass, or I keep saying up in Mass, but over in Mass, that's like, I spent the whole summer. I didn't go to a box store. I made it through the whole summer without having to go to a box store.
That's so cool.
And like, you could lean on people in the community and be like, hey, I'm looking for X, Y, or Z. Do you know anybody who has this? And sure as hell, there'll be a guy. Like I had an egg guy. I went to my egg guy to get my
awesome.
eggs. I went to this one farm stand had really good apples. I'd pick up my apples from there. If whatever, you name it.
Yeah.
And like you make it a little adventure out of it. You know what I mean? Like going on a bike ride to go get my apples for the week. You know what I mean? Like, but it just, everything you did there had a little bit more meaning because it was not hard to find the human on the other end of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was very like community oriented, and that was like one of the best parts about it. It was just like, and I don't think I realized how much that was missing until that. And you can do that here. Like, that's what's great about this is like the human on the other end of the skate park isn't very far away. You know what I mean?
Right here.
That makes it very cool. But like as far as like outside of that, like if you want to, it's hard like getting groceries or going out to eat or anything like that around here. It's like you really need a pry. And if you go looking for the person, they're like, am I in trouble? You know what I mean?
Everything that had any sort of personality where I grew up in Jersey just eventually got pushed out for developments, right? Everything, like I lived next to this, it was Raceway Park. It was actually from Englishtown, and people know the name because there was this drag strip there, this famous drag strip, and they had like two dirt bike tracks, and like they did all kinds of cool shit. I was like, a couple of my first jobs were working there, and
you worked at Englishtown?
Yeah,
I've heard of Englishtown.
Yeah, I did a bunch of stuff. I did time card on they had an 1/8 mile like mini dragster course. I did time card there. I did flagging on the dirt bike course. I did hospitality in the big tower behind like the drag strip for those big. They had the nights where they bring in the monster trucks and the jet cars and all that stuff.
That's sick.
But all these people buy these like McMansions near, a little drag strip and a little airport, and then start complaining about the sounds, and then after 25 years of people complaining, eventually they managed to get it all shut down, and like the only unique thing about the area is now closed. And then Warped Tour was there too,
right?
Which was sick because I lived so close you could hear the dirt bikes on the track.
That's sick.
So when Warped Tour was at the Raceway Park, I literally just walked over there.
Yeah, dude.
And that's gone.
Oh man, yeah, it's crazy. I always wonder what people in those big houses like that do. Like they all that stuff. It just seems like
they all have the cars and the houses to project an image of wealth, but they actually don't have wealth because they owe money on all of it. Right. It's just a projection. It's all peacocking. It's not. It's just like the characters in these Cormac McCarthy novels, where like they want the real deal, the real world. They don't want to project.
Yeah.
John Grady Cole, in the beginning of that book, his mother doesn't want the ranch, and she's acting in a play or whatever, and he goes to see the play, and like he has this like ugh. Like, he's like, what is this? He says something in a novel like, there ain't nothing nobody can learn from watching one of these plays, It's not real, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Even if they didn't owe money, say they didn't owe money and they did own it outright, I feel like you're paying for you're paying for a headache. Like, you're paying for the privilege to be just inundated with mundane stuff to do. You know what I mean?
I could tell so many people I grew up with, you'd see their parents, how hard they worked to have this presentation of having wealth, right? Mm-hmm. And so many people I knew, like my friends were like, I don't get it, and then and some people grew up to end up being just like that,
Right.
It's like that commercial. How am I doing? I'm up to my eyeballs in debt, right?
Right.
Like, I don't.
Yeah. Or like, cutting grass. I can't wait to not have a lawn. Dude, if my neighbors didn't cut their grass, I wouldn't cut my grass in Scottsville.
You seem like a guy that'd be into cutting grass.
No, it's so meaningless, dude. It just comes back. It just comes back. Yeah, I know.
You probably have some native species.
Actually around the cabin up in Mass, over Mass. God dang it. It's all rock. There's no.
Yeah.
There's nothing growing there, so that's perfect. It looks great. And it functions exactly as it should, doing rock things. But like in Scottsville, like Carly cut the grass all this summer, but like, dude, you gotta pay for a lawnmower. You gotta spend the time to work on a lawnmower. You gotta then use the lawnmower.
Well, you got the lawnmower dishwasher combo, huh?
Yeah, I got the lawnmower dishwasher combo in Scottsville. And it's like, what, for what? To just like, to just have like, I don't even know what, just to look pretty.
What do they call it? Keeping up with the Karens or the Johnsons, or what? They just like just playing the rat race, right?
Exactly. It's like I would napalm my yard if I could.
So throughout that entire Border trilogy of books, there's constantly this like discussion, kind of philosophical, of like what is or what ought to be, right? And both the main characters in the books, they'll be like, they would say things like, that don't seem right, but they never ever comment on like what it is. Like, it sounds like they're just doing these cowboy things. They're just like enduring, you know.
Yeah.
They're searching for something. They don't really define it. People are asking them why, you know, it just don't seem right. I don't know. There's never this like distinction of like they're driven by purpose to get X, Y, or Z, but never this like, basically they never talk about anything like God in the book.
Right.
It's never discussed, but it's like, it stays around the edges, right?
Mm-hmm.
And at the very, very end of the whole trilogy, without any spoilers, like, you know, it's actually not a spoiler to tell you that anything with Cormac McCarthy ends abruptly and tragically, right?
Yeah.
And the one character, like, literally, he says, he's like, see what you've done, you know? You're like,
oh yeah.
And like, so throughout this book of all this, like, there's all this sorrow and death and despair, and the main characters of the book, they never really stop to reflect on anything, that all the hardship and the dying and all the bad things that happen, until like the last paragraph,
right, when
there's suddenly an acknowledgement of, see what you did, see what happened, look at this, you know.
Yeah.
He doesn't say like why isn't there, why did you do this, just like, can you see what happened here, you know. So, I don't know. You believe in God?
I started laughing because I sent Carly a text that was pretty funny today. It goes, I said, if God's real, why would he invent drywall? as I was covered in plaster and like scraping drywall mud out of my carpet, I was like, why are we doing this? This is insane.
Yeah, my drywall is whoever did my drywall in my house did a horrible job. And you could like look around and like, it's like, yeah, it's bad. And my wife will be like, well, we should redo this. I'm like, why?
Yeah.
I'm like, the only reason I'd ever do this shit would be when we're selling it.
Yeah.
And we should repaint this. And I'm like, no, we have a toddler.
Yeah.
And sure enough, now there's like crayon on the wall in the kitchen and the bathroom and the living room.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, listen, I don't care about paint. I don't care what color the room is.
Mm-hmm.
I don't care at all. I told her, if you want to paint something, fine, paint a room. I'm not paying for it. You can paint whatever you want if it makes you happy.
Yeah.
Like whenever, I don't know when I would sell the house, but if I were to sell the house, well then we could do some drywall and paint and fix the stuff. But otherwise, we're just going to live in this house.
Right.
Like, we wear our shoes in the house. I come home covered in sawdust. Like, the cats go inside, outside. Like, I'm not going to... She's like, we should get new carpets. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
We're just going to keep messing up these crappy ones, you know, and maybe one day we'll pull them up and I'll use the 112-year-old hardwood floors and see if we could get them good again or whatever.
Yeah. We're in the same boat. So I'm thinking about there's a chance I try and unload my place in the spring. Yeah, that's why I'm doing it now. And Carly's like, well, I've been wanting to do this stuff. We're doing it now, and we're gonna sell the house. I was like, well, yeah, because we're gonna see the return on it if I do it now. If I do it, and we're cooking in the kitchen and hammering this place, it's gonna be, we're gonna ruin it again. What was I gonna say? Yeah, I had the very similar conversation with Carly. It was like, if you want to, she took it on and redid our bathroom, and it came out really nice. And she was like, I feel a lot better. Like, I got that out of my system. And and then like she's been talking to me about doing the drywall. Like, it ain't no thing. We'll just do the, you can do the drywall. Like discussion. I'm like, wait and see what drywall entails. And she came home from work on Monday after I had started the drywall. And the house was a mess, dude. Because, like, so what happened was, like, all the seams where they had taped in the living room, like 50% of them were, like, sagging. And, like, the tape was coming off. So I had to untape the drywall.
Ugh.
And then I'm retaping, and they had so much mud on the ceiling that I had to sand before I started putting in the drywall. So there's like a half inch of dust on everything. And she's like, she came in the house, she was like, "What have you done?" And I was like,
This is what you wanted,
I was
honey.
like,
this is what you asked for.
we in the drywall business now, baby. And
And for what? For the rat race, dude. To just have the
Yep.
thing. Like,
Exactly.
we don't need the thing.
Exactly. That's why I was like, this is perfect time. We're gonna get this done. We're gonna get it all clean. You can buy some curtains off of Temu, and we're gonna flip this place. It's gonna be
Yeah, I think the women in our lives don't understand how much we do all this stuff for them,
Oh yeah, definitely.
right?
Yeah. She does.
But they do it for
yeah.
us too. You know, they're like,
Yeah.
you know, my wife's like, "Oh, this house just looks like a dudes live here." I'm like, "Well, yeah, it's Jake from State Farm." You know,
Right.
it's like that's all it was. It's a BMX house. Like it's like you don't even have drapes. And I'm like, "I have drapes." She goes, "Those are curtains, not drapes." Ah, sure, whatever. Or maybe it's the other way around. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm a
Right.
dude, right.
Exactly. That's yeah.
Tara was like, she got curtains. She's like asking me about colors and sending me pictures of stuff. And I was like, honey, I'll tell you what. If you like them, I like them. If you love them, I love them.
Yeah. 100%.
I was like, and just to take, like, there's like no world where I get home and there's new curtains and I go, I can't believe
Yeah.
you chose that color.
Right. Right.
I'm just like, oh, what's a curtain do? Covers the window.
Right.
Does it work? Yeah, it does. Yeah, the light doesn't come in. Great. Fantastic. Good curtains.
Exactly.
Form over function.
Definitely. Well, I'm the other way around. I'm function over form. It sounds like you are too.
It's only about function
Yeah.
for me. Like, I don't need nice, pretty stuff. Like, I can put an oven hood in my kitchen because, like, there wasn't one in my house.
Uh-huh.
And, like, with the amount of meat we eat, what the heck is this? We got a spammer in the chat right now.
He's giving us gifts. Put user in timeout. That sounds kinky.
Put user in timeout.
Hey.
How does this work?
I don't know what we got going on here.
We got a spammer in
Can
the
you
chat.
scroll?
No, it doesn't let me scroll.
Oh.
If I hit enter. I don't freaking know what's going on. Now the chat's gone. Oh, it's Spanish?
Danielle.
Remove. Oh my god.
There's only one, dude.
Does this mean we've made it? We have a spammer report. Unwanted content. Pornography.
Child
report.
abuse.
Cool. Hide user from channel. Done.
All right.
Cool. Well, Gooch, it's been a riveting conversation about life
Yeah.
and masculinity, I guess, a little bit.
We got all over the place. It was good.
Yeah. Yeah, people tend to like these more laid-back episodes a little bit. We'll see. A couple of them in a row here.
Yeah, it was kind of like a hodgepodge of some stuff we talked
Where's
about.
Jack?
I don't know where Jack is. Jack!
So Jack is somewhere here, and because you're his ride home, and we don't know where Jack is.
Yeah.
Okay.
I hope my truck's locked, so hopefully he realized that the door to get back in was
I can hear
unlocked.
the door open. Is he just outside in the cold truck?
I thought I heard something. No, my truck's locked.
Oh, jeez.
I really
Oh,
hope
maybe you got
he's-
someone else to drive him home. I don't know.
Maybe.
Weird. Well, guys, everyone, we're just shy of 2 hours here, so I think it's enough.
Cool.
I had a great time.
Me too, man. Thank you.
There's no podcast next week
Okay.
because a week from today's 9-year anniversary party, and I might live stream the bands, although typically on the free night there's like 100 people here, and it might be hard to try to set up the live stream stuff. So I don't know. And then the following week, man, I think we're out for a while. Yeah, because the 17th is the party.
Okay.
The 24th is Christmas Eve. The 31st is New Year's Eve. So if I can't do shows on the next 3 Wednesdays, so maybe I'll try to move a show to a Tuesday.
I think we can we set up like a breaking free nativity scene?
Nativity scene? What is that, the Jesus thing in the altar?
The Jesus getting born.
Born? Wow. Okay. Well, Nick, enjoy your Cormac McCarthy's All the Pretty Horses.
Thank
and
you,
anyone
dude.
that wants to read the book, please read the book. Let's make this the beginning of the BFS book club.
Yeah.
I will gladly reread any one of these books. If I had more time in my life, I would do, on top of BFS Live, I'd bring back my personal show, Wrench Life, and I would do stuff like this where we'd, go each week. Will be a new chapter in this book, or let's listen to this album and talk about it, or some stuff like that. I think you're going to find John Grady Cole, the main character of the book, captivating.
I'm excited to get into it, man. Thank you very much for putting that thing on me.
Yeah. And thank you, everyone, all the viewers and listeners and watchers. You know the deal. You can grab us on Patreon if you want to support. Things are looking great at the skate park right now. Like really good. We had a fantastic November.
Yeah. Slammed here last night was freaking slammed.
We've had a lot
too.
of busy days. A lot of people joining on Patreon for the monthly passes, which is typical. And money's actually solid right now, which is crazy because I've just been running so lean and things have been so rough with income for so long. And then I go, bam! Here's a November where it's twice as much as you've done the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And it's like, whoa! And, it's the end of tax season. I got all my books up to date so my CPA can look at them. And so then if my December ends up being as good as my November, I'll actually have like a little bit of surplus of money at the end of this year that I'll have to kind of, you got to look at like $0 in my account isn't $0 for the business because it's wherever the account started at the beginning of the year. So like if every year you keep rolling over a few $1,000, I might actually have to have $6,000 in my bank account to actually be $0 of income at the year. That's kind of what you're aiming for, right?
Yep.
You want to be like close to zero. And there's things I can do at the end of the year. Like say I had a little bit extra money. What I would do is I would like pay my rent and like give them an extra like $2,000, $3,000, right?
Yeah.
I'd pay RG&E and pay them an extra couple $100. So you kind of like you push that money to other people and make them pay it as income tax, not as you just kind of push money here or there. There's actually a small scenario where I might actually be able to take a distribution to myself as pay, which is like, it sounds like, oh, look at Dave's making money, but I literally didn't take any pay the whole summer, right?
Right.
And like I haven't looked at my income numbers yet, but I probably have brought home about $15,000 this year.
Oh shit.
Which last year was 12, so I'm already up at least 3. It's probably 15 or 17 in there. So like, if I could take a couple extra $1,000 at the end of the year to get me to $20K for the year, that'd be huge.
Yeah, dude.
That would be, if I could break $20,000 of income of pay to myself this year, that would be the most money I've taken home from the business since COVID. So,
wow.
I think I wouldn't feel, selfish or decadent for doing that.
Yeah, what are you
I work.
You're gonna get some Gator boots, maybe a Gucci suit.
Bitcoin.
No,
probably not Bitcoin. Man, I almost bought more Ethereum because it got really close to getting to, what was the number it was at? I have like alert set, but then it actually kind of came back up.
Yeah.
I bought a little more XRP this week, but
Stonks have been killing it for sure.
we don't got to talk about Bitcoin or crypto because that's not what we're here for. But we could. Thank you, everyone, for being here.
Thanks,
Dude,
dude.
thank you so much. It's always a pleasure.
Appreciate
We get
it.
to have great conversations when you come to the park.
Yeah.
We had some bangers lately. I almost think the conversation we had the other night on the couch is almost better than the one we had tonight because we were deep over there the other night. But
Yeah.
we talked about some good shit right tonight.
Yeah. No, it was really good. I appreciate it. It's always this skate park and being able to come and chat with you is great. It's definitely a big puzzle piece to my sanity while I'm home for sure.
Well, you're a real dude and you do real stuff, and there's not a lot of people that really like do the thing. And what I hope people can take from these shows is to do the thing. And people that don't do the thing, they'll talk to you, but they never do the thing. They don't know, right? And people that do the thing, when you talk to someone that hasn't done the thing, you're like, okay, dude, like, we get it, bro. You don't like, you're gonna sell your chopped cheeses or whatever, sure, you know. So, thank you everyone for watching.
Thanks, Dave.
Again, thank you for being here.
Appreciate it, dude.
You guys keep grinding. I'll see you at the skate park later. Subscribe.